Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Andrew in the building. It's the Lunchman Show, and we always have a good time. And on the Friday today, I hope y'all are ready to have this time of your life with a lady here called Cheeto, and it's family time. It's the weekend is the family time, so it's family for sure. And I'm here with somebody who values that, and got a whole foundation sorted out to sort of well, you know what, let me not say much. We're gonna have a conversation about that as soon as she come on. And you know what, let me have her on now so we can take it up. What's up?
Hi, Andrew. How are you? I hope I
I'm
sound cool to be on radio.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything nice. It's a Friday. I hope you're nice. Mhm.
Yeah, I am. I love a Friday, although I'm working today, but I'm on my lunch break in case my manager is listening.
Yeah,
But
what an
yeah,
interesting thing, man. Because it's the other. I was watching. I was listening. I was reading something, and he was saying how people working from home. There's so many babies coming out. There's so many people getting obese, and there's so many people doing this and that. And I was thinking to myself, why don't people come back and go to work and bring back the high street spending and come get some coffee somewhere on your tea break or come get some. But then at the same time, I was thinking to myself, Sainsbury's must be making money because those groceries are finishing every minute. Mhm.
yeah, I think the thing is we are now used to staying home,
Mhm.
going out, and it's getting cold. The weather is really cold today.
Uh-huh.
And you just think, you know what? If I could do it for 2 years,
For two
why
years.
why why do I need to go back to the office now? So sorry, we can't go. We are not coming out. We're staying in. We
You're
are working
staying
from home. Yeah, I'm
in.
actually happy that we have that choice. Some people don't have the choice. You have to go to work. But for me, I'm
For
quite
you.
lucky. I can have a lunch. Is it
Hmm.
lunch munch with
Hmm.
you? Relax radio, and then go back to work after.
Yeah,
So that's
that's the
amazing.
beauty of it. That's the beauty of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. But
absolutely. Yeah.
in the setup, can you actually manage to go and say maybe go to Sainsbury's during that time or these
Yeah.
because from what I also saw was that they are also now companies are now checking on what's it called, on how a typical email is sent in say 5 minutes, and then
Mm.
now they are also sort of keeping track of that.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is my company, they don't do that because they know at the end of the week, they give me a target,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I
you're gonna
deliver
do it.
at the end of the week.
You,
So
you
whichever way
deliver.
I do it, even if I'm in the bus or as long
Mhm.
as I do what they say I should do, then
Mm.
they are fine.
Can I place you among women king?
Probably, I think so. I don't mind. Sounds good. So yeah,
We got a woman king round here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's good to have people come around and have a conversation and touch on some subjects which are of affect the community, are prominent, and things going on. But before we go into detail about some of these things, like highlight some of the things that you do,
mm,
and so that we make it the baseline of the
yeah,
conversation. Yeah.
definitely.
Mm,
Right. So thank you so much for inviting
mm,
us. Well,
mm, mm.
I'm one of your followers, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. I've
Yeah,
watched
yeah, yeah,
so many of the people who come here and be like, oh, I didn't know there's this cool radio. I want to be part of that movement. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you so much. So
Yeah, because I
yeah,
remember that because it was
mm,
like I'm looking to put out something.
yeah,
Is it okay if I come? I was like,
yeah.
okay. So how did you know? It's like that moment where it's like, how did you know? It's like, okay.
Believe you me, you're making so much impact without even you realizing. And I
Mm,
hope I will be able to share this and people can
yeah.
download Relax Radio and it's going to, I can see it going big. Anyway, let me not mumble about that. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I
uh,
am Chido.
uh-huh.
I'm a wife. I wear
Hmm.
so many hats. So I
Yeah.
came here just like yourself from
Mm,
Zimbabwe,
mm.
and I've been here for over 20 something years. Let's put it that way. I don't want you to wait
Ah,
my age because I probably don't look my age, but yeah, I've been here 20 something years. I
somebody could
like, yeah,
somebody could have had a whole a whole child who's become an adult.
I know, I know, I know, but
Yeah.
I know I look good and I don't look my age, but that's fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I like to call myself a social entrepreneur, a game
Uh-huh.
changer.
Hmm.
I'm also a social worker by profession. So
Oh,
that's
lovely,
one
lovely.
side. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the other side is I opened an organization called Family for Sure that was at the beginning of the pandemic. You know, everybody was feeling lonely.
Hmm.
Everyone was locked down.
Yeah,
Everybody was isolated.
yeah,
But what stood out for me was I was thinking of my people, you and I, Black ethnic
yeah.
minority. And I thought, yes, I know everybody's in lockdown, everybody's lonely, but for us,
Hmm.
we've always had issues about inequalities already anyway, before
Yeah.
the lockdown. Even if you want to go to access a service, let's be honest, there was no fair access for you and I as compared to the white people.
But you
I'm
know what?
okay to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you're saying is interesting, and at the same time, I will not say. I suppose because having come from home, you didn't
Mm,
have access to much. Well, you
mm,
did, but you didn't. I mean, you didn't
mm.
know anything better. Now
Yeah.
you come here, you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking, well, I don't mind because I've never had, So
Yeah.
sometimes people of minority are affected by social capital.
Mm,
And what I mean is sometimes we don't know where to go.
mm.
And then, but I think there's things that are ready for us, but because we don't know where to go, we
Yeah.
don't sort of go into that
Yeah,
pathway.
I,
Yeah.
I I agree with you, but I would have to have a different opinion only because of the work that I do. I've seen it happening firsthand,
Uh,
where I've actually referred someone to a service. I won't mention where or where I work, but
uh, uh,
I've referred someone and said, "This is a good service for your problem that you've come to me for."
uh,
And then they come back and said, "Sorry, they don't have space." And I said, "Okay, maybe there's a waiting list." And then tomorrow I refer somebody, and then immediately they are accepting. I'm thinking, hold on a minute, I've
uh.
got A, who you
Who
told
is
there's no, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't want to name it, obviously, but
yeah.
you can
It's
see I would have situations where they say, oh, language barrier. We don't have someone who understands the culture. We don't have
mm,
somebody. So there will be barriers. That's what I'm trying. There will be barriers that will not allow the current services to support. Going back to
but
what you said, we
but
didn't have
then
much
yeah.
before.
Okay,
And
okay.
now we are comparing that, oh, I'm in diaspora, now I need my. Some people were born here.
Yeah.
They're just being affected because they are Black ethnic minority. So they don't know Africa. I came here when I was 17. I
Hmm.
never, thank God I never went to hospital. I
Hmm.
only had, well, I'm lying. I actually went to hospital. I fell down, broke my arm, but that was the only major thing that I had. And that time, 17 years ago, you'd agree things were
Mm.
okay.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
still
yeah.
had a freeze it. You remember a freeze it for
Yeah,
50
yeah, yeah.
cents? Yeah.
Hmm.
So things were okay.
Yeah.
Electricity was there. So I don't have much to compare. I only see it from the news, which is quite sad. My
Uh,
family is still back home, like my parents are still back home. So yes, you're right. It sounds unfair to say, oh, there's no fair access for Black ethnic minority when we don't have it. But now we are here.
mhm.
Why can't we have it? That's the question. So anyway, Family for Sure was born for that reason only,
Okay,
to
okay.
support. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was holding this for so long, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to. Did you realize that you gave away your age?
Oh my God, I didn't want. Please
Okay.
don't say it on radio.
All right, all
Women's
right.
age. I was
Yeah,
trying
but
not to say my age.
in addition, I just wanted to point out that
Mm,
sometimes maybe let's also broaden our thinking.
yeah.
Let's think alongside that. Let's say we have a soccer team of 11.
Hmm.
You go in there as a player, and they don't have a goalkeeper. No,
Mm,
and then you're looking to be a striker,
mm,
and then a goalkeeper comes along, and you just so happen that you wasn't a goalkeeper. So then the goalkeeper comes along, who is
yeah.
at whatever criteria of whatever it needs to fit in, and
Mm,
then the goalkeeper is placed in there. Would
okay.
you really complain?
Do you know what? You actually lost because football is not something that I'm.
Okay, okay, all right, okay. Let's put it in on a work basis. They're looking for a
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah.
you're looking for a job at family for sure,
Yeah.
but you want to be a cleaner. There's no
Mm.
cleaner position,
Mm.
but there's a manager position.
Mm.
Then they take on a manager. Would you say they're unfair?
I wouldn't. I'm
Okay.
trying to see where you're going with this so that I can I can bring
I
it.
mean, on the basis that you said A went and didn't get the position. I mean,
Yeah.
A went and didn't get what you needed, but then
Yeah.
B went and got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they were looking for something that A didn't have.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I think we just leave it there because that's
Okay.
it's a gray area. But all I
All
can
right.
tell you is I've
Yeah.
seen a lot within.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot where I would be questioning. I'll give you an example. I
Yeah.
know you talked about football, but let's talk about the mental health system, which I
Yeah.
know we're going to talk about later. But
Yeah.
I've worked in a mental health system for over a year at a period at a local authority, which is I cannot mention.
Yeah.
But what I saw,
Mm.
it shocked me in terms of how Black men were treated. I mean, statistically, a lot of Black men will end up having a mental health or be mistreated in a mental health institute compared to the white. I'm not just saying that because I'm Black. I've seen it, and I've actually challenged it so many times to the extent that I probably lost my job, but part of my job is, as a social worker, it's not just going to do a job. We do have to challenge where there's inequalities in any area and try to influence policies in areas that we are more passionate about. So when we see something that doesn't sit down right within the Equality Act or, the law, you can't be that person who just say, oh, I'll ignore it. There are people, not everyone, who love to challenge or speak out for those people who can't speak for themselves. And I happen to be, you called me the king, what?
Woman king.
Yeah. So
it's like,
yeah, so that's what we do. We don't just see something and say, I'll follow the crowd. I'm one of those who be like, hold on a minute. What's going on here? So I speak out a lot. Even at work and my organization. So that's one thing that as an organization, we really love to be involved in. Advocating for vulnerable people who may be feeling stigmatized or discriminated around mental health issues and issues affecting mental health. So we are planning to even go number 10, whoever is there at the moment. We don't know.
You're not stopping at 9.
We are not stopping at 9. We're going to number 10. Until, I know there's no one there, but we'll still go there.
Are you sure you're going to that PNP?
I've booked my slot. Yes. Oh dear, that's funny. Yeah. So what was the question? So you wanted me to talk about Family for Sure? Yeah. So we started at the beginning of the pandemic, and the whole idea was to create a therapeutic space. A space like this where we can talk. Feel free to talk about. I wouldn't call it relax space because I would take your name, but it was an opportunity for people like you and me where maybe because we feel different in wherever we are, like work, or because some people don't feel comfortable to talk in a place they want to portray that I'm okay, like place of work, for instance, or church. So this platform is to bring people together and just share. Sorry.
Sorry, let me hold you there. We need to go on a short break.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And breathe. Am I still live? Sorry, in case I'm live. Yeah.
Yep, we are back, and you were still saying. I'm sorry, I cut you short.
No, that's okay. You needed the break. We needed the break. Yeah. So I was saying,
and recoup.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that you stopped me because I tend to mumble a lot. We'll be here all day. But anyway, I was just saying we wanted to create a platform where people could talk. Talk about any issues that affect us in the diaspora. Or issues such as mental health. How are we managing our mental health? Because back home, mental health was seen as, well, it wasn't really seen. People would have mental health, no one would talk about it. People would just be left in their rooms, locked and treated like God knows what. But so we wanted to create a platform where we can learn from each other. How are we managing our mental health? So it's, for instance, we had the Black Men Mental Health Matters workshops that was absolutely successful. So it encouraged all Black men who, not just who are facing mental health, but who may have some form of stress, anxiety about being in diaspora. So that a platform enabled men to have a men-to-men talk. I don't lead those projects, by the way. We have one of our volunteers who is a man, of course, and he happens to share some of the things that come out of that discussions, and things like our men, Black men. I know I'm going to provoke you. I like provoking you, because
I'm
so that
ready.
Black men in the diaspora have lost their voice. They have been challenged their masculinity, because when they're in Africa, women will be kneeling down. All these different cultures were comparing how women were back home. And so the issues of masculinity has been challenged while being in diaspora. So some people, men, are suffering in silence because they just accept that, we are now in the diaspora. So this is it. So this platform, what it allows them is, how are you managing your controlling wives? Some have controlling wives, some have, and I happen to have to just jump in as a, don't tell them I put a man name. So I wanted to look into listen. And I had a very interesting conversation where someone was actually abused as a child, and how now every woman that is dating, or even the wife they divorced, he's just abusive towards the wife. So he was saying, I'm just treating the woman the way I was treated. So I just thought to myself, all those people, like domestic violence cases you hear, no one actually looks at what's wrong with the man. So that's what the platform is all about, is to look at the man as the head, and try to sort out the head before you go down to the neck or the family setting.
Yeah.
So that's why we started with dealing with the man. So the next one, which is the single summit, we realized that, remember, the aims of Family for Sure is to deal with loneliness. So we're just tackling any community within the BAM or global majority. I don't know if you knew
Yeah.
there's a new one, global majority, that are
Global
feeling.
majority.
Yeah, I heard it yesterday and I was like, oh, that sounds fancy. I don't mind being called a global majority. That's a new one. Yeah. So
I mean, everything started in Africa. I mean, with
yeah,
the beginning. So we've made everything that lives had
yeah,
that black. So we the majority. Take
yeah,
it from
yeah.
there.
I loved that when I heard that. I said, that's the word I've been waiting for, not the BAME, or whatever, BIPOC, or whatever you
Nonsense.
name it. Yeah. That one sounds more, yeah. Yeah. So, like, people like you and I, we wouldn't be feeling to have a platform where we can talk about our issues, share ideas. We actually came up with a model called You Share, I Care. I
You
have to
share
talk
IK.
about,
Okay.
yeah. I have to talk about this because if Blessing is going to listen to this, Blessing is one of the volunteers who leads the Black Men Mental Health, by the way. Shout out. Woohoo. So if Blessing is listening to this, he would say to me, why didn't you talk about USHIK? So I have to talk
Yeah.
about it. So
Okay.
what the USHIK does within this workshop is it allows you to share a life experience. So somebody may come to that platform and share something that they've been through that's been very difficult in their life, that has affected them in different ways. So the I care part, so that's the U share part. The I care part is somebody might have gone through the same issue and then share an idea of, oh, this is what I did when I went through that.
Went through that, yeah.
Yeah, and then there will be professionals, there will be different professionals who support Black ethnic minority groups. So it's not just a Family for Sure thing, it's a collaborative approach. So we have pastors, psychiatrists, church leaders, they come to that platform and then share their ideas on how to manage. So what that does is there's somebody who's there who's not confident enough to be honest, to say, I'm not well. So they are taking notes at the background. And that's the person we are even concerned about. So some people are confident enough to speak, some people are not. So that cycle of the person who's presenting is getting help, and the person behind the scenes is also getting help. We've had so many people saying, I love this because I will never be able to speak and tell you that this is what's going on. As a man, I work in a very, prominent job. I can't share my weaknesses. So at least I'll listen on behalf of whatever. Yeah. So I like that concept with the USHIK. And then we also had, we were funded by the National Lottery, by the way. Woo-hoo. to
Oh
do.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, we were funded to actually do another project.
yeah, I mean, these guys are doing. I hear a lot of people talking about how the national lottery is giving people money. So I think people need to keep buying. They need to keep buying the lottery tickets.
So that we can, yes, please
Yeah.
tell people to buy
Mm,
lottery tickets, because
mm,
I have to tell you this. The
mm.
National Lottery have helped us to even to do a lot, because if we didn't have the National Lottery funding, we wouldn't have
Mm.
had the volunteers, the project leads. Some people need to be paid to do the
Yes,
job.
yes, yes, yes.
We wouldn't have the laptops, the phones, everything that
Mm.
we are using. We are
It's
planning right
it's
now.
all in the proposal, is it?
Yeah, only the proposal. You know the game, yes. And right now, what we really want is a space like face to face. We are doing everything virtual at the moment since the
Mm,
COVID pandemic, but we are looking at maybe a place where we can actually meet physically. We've been meeting in the park, but it's not good enough, because we want something that, because the
mm,
men, especially the men, oh, I'll tell you this, the men
mm.
actually met on the platform and they went to France. They drove all the way to France
Ah,
to talk face to face. So they had a retreat as men.
ah.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
They're planning to do another
How
one in
come I
March.
didn't know about this many? I only just
Because
that
you're
whole
always
trip.
on radio, Andrew. You need to you're always here, so you need to know what's happening. That's why I came here to tell you. So next time you can come as well.
You
Yeah.
know that trip for no reason. It's like yeah, we going out with man
Yeah, yeah,
to have
man
a
to man.
conversation.
Yeah, it was like, let's talk man to man. That was the
Mm,
theme. And then they went to France. They
mm.
drove. They didn't want to fly. They just wanted to drive. So have that long conversation,
Can I
nagging
can
about
I can
women.
I
Yeah.
quickly ask? Do they have beer with them or some alcohol sort of?
I didn't ask. You know what they're saying? What happens in France stays in France. So they are not
Oh,
sharing anything.
no,
You know?
no more, no less, no more
Yes.
plastic.
Yeah. So I have no clue what happened there. I couldn't even log in or pretend to be a man in this situation because it was face
Mm,
to face. But all I know
mm.
is they want to go back. So that means they enjoyed.
They
And
enjoy it. Mm,
now we had few men saying, "Oh, you didn't tell us like you. I want to go the next time." So they are planning another one in March,
mm,
where probably they'll have like business talks, share ideas,
mm,
not just talk about mental health, but
mm.
also have a meaningful. I'm not saying mental health is not meaningful, by the way, but
Yeah.
I'm
Mm,
just saying talk about other things such as how to start a business or cryptocurrency. I don't know,
mm.
all those men stuff,
Yeah.
football, the ones that you're trying to
Why?
instill in me.
Why? I'm trying to check something now. Now like, why do I think this trip was a getaway trip?
Possibly. I think you could be right. You could be
Hey,
right.
listen, my wife, we've got a situation at hand. You know.
Yeah, you need to get a visa from your wife first so that you can go in March with this man, because they came back with
Mm,
another energy, another level
mm,
energy, and that's why they
mm,
want to go back. All I say to them is just obviously
mm,
don't do what you wouldn't do at home, but
mm.
do enjoy, just have fun,
Yeah.
talk it all out, share whatever you need to share, get it all out. So when you come back, you have the confidence to be the man that you want to be. So that's the whole idea of a getaway from the norm. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's that. You have to stop me because I tend to talk
Do
England.
you know what? It's the greater you talk, the more, yeah. But
Yeah.
in just I was just wondering, like, how have you sort of had sort of not give back, but something like a setup of the same scenario
Mm.
back home, or
I would say this is something that we are planning to do as family for sure. I went to Zimbabwe in September. The whole of September I was in Zimbabwe.
Mhm.
The whole idea, of course, was to see my parents, but also to see how I can give back in the community. Because remember, we haven't been traveling, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to do something without actually physically being there.
Uh-huh.
I come from a small town called Chimanimani. That's where I was born. And there was a
Ah,
cyclone that happened before the pandemic. They had a
yeah.
cyclone that killed a lot of people. I'm sure you know about that. So I
Yeah.
actually went to my small town, met the pastors. Some people are still there, which was quite nice to see. And I saw the church I grew up in, quite an emotional journey because I hadn't been home in years. But what I was trying to do is to look at ways I can give back to my community, which is Chimanimani. And my father, who I know he listens, is one of my followers. He's 70-something, but he's into social media, I tell you. Shout out to my mom, my dad, and my mom, Lillian, my dad, Patson. I know you will be listening to this. So my dad spoke about Family for Sure in his community. So by the time I went there, everybody knew about Family for Sure. I was really shocked. So I had a discussion with the church because they are trying to build a church because it was wiped away during the pandemic. So I thought, okay, this could be something that we could work with the church, because what the church does to a community like that is different from how we view a church here in the diaspora, where the church now next door is a gym. So that's you know what I mean.
It's a whole different,
like a community, it's a family. Yeah. And during
there's pride at the church, and there's cookouts at the church. There's
yes, everything. Yeah, but back home, how they view the church, besides all the obvious, which is praying to God, is I realized during the pandemic they were using churches to be a place where they can feed people who don't have family, orphans. So there's more that's happening in the church back in Chimanimani than anywhere, because some people are still living in tents. They haven't been. They're still after the cyclone. The roads are still being fixed. So there's a lot that I can do from a Family for Sure perspective. But I can't say I'm still assessing where we can support, but definitely it's something that we're looking into, because remember, we are still new. We're kind of a baby in the diaspora, but we are not stopping here. I'll tell you this. We have a sister, I would say, an adopted country called Burundi. I know one of the people came here.
Yeah.
So there's a community in Burundi, some young volunteers were following us just like I follow you. And they approached me behind the scenes and said, we want to learn what you're doing so we can do a similar thing in Burundi, because mental health is something that is not talked about in Burundi. So we also have Family for Sure Burundi, So they go and do some just small things that they do in Burundi. They go to schools. They try to look at. They're still assessing to see how Family for Sure can support in Burundi. But they would be doing the fundraising. We are not giving them money, by the way, in case our funders think we are giving money to Burundi. No, they want to learn from Family for Sure UK and replicate everything that we're doing here in Burundi. So they've been more active. Some of them have done more than what we've done because of the pandemic. Rules are different in each country. So watch the space. We are looking at helping. If we had the funding globally, I wouldn't mind helping everyone. But we can only do what we can with the capacity of these volunteers we have. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's go for another quick break, and then we come back and take it up a notch. Hey, we are back, and she's here. Family for Sure. Y'all need to check out Family for Sure. Is it .com or Family for Sure .co.uk. And then on Instagram is family underscore for numerical for sure. Facebook Family for Sure. So I mean, the name Family for Sure, I don't know, it came out from the idea of family, like you said, because families were caught up in a situation where they were spending more time together, and that's what I want to think. But then at the same time, I'm looking at the whole idea of a family setup. Out of interest, what do you think? You also mentioned that you are married. What do you think of the marriage setup? You can make comparisons, and like you also mentioned that the idea of a man coming from Africa
Mhm.
feels mhm,
Like they've lost their masculinity.
yeah,
Mm.
they've lost their masculinity, and
Yeah.
and now that they're here, and in some circumstances, it's a whole different setup.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you. What information do you know, or what understanding do you know, with your experience in marriage, and that which you've gathered from all that is there from family for sure.
Okay.
Mm,
So, so I told you I'm a social worker, obviously with 11 years experience. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about is from my work experience, as well as family for sure, as well as my own experience. I
yeah.
won't tell you which one is mine because my husband is listening, and I want to save my marriage after this show.
Hey,
Uh,
tell him it's for radio.
but I'm one of the realest talkers. I can tell
Yeah.
you that,
Mm,
like my opinion. But from a work perspective, I've
mm,
seen a lot in terms of family setting, and
mm,
I've worked with people from all cultures. You know, there are millions of cultures in the world, different cultures
mm,
and norms. You know, where marriages are viewed differently in every culture. So I've
mm.
seen a marriage where people come from a culture where women are oppressed, and they come here. It's a
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
I know I'm touching a nerve, and you understand why I started talking about that. Go
Is it
ahead.
really oppressed?
Yeah.
Is well, is oppressed the word?
Okay. What word do you want me to use? And then I'll
I don't
I'll,
know
I'll
where.
negotiate with you
I,
now.
okay, I would rather say there's some cultures where normality is different from other cultures.
Okay. As you said, so I'll I'll move on because
Okay,
I would explain why I feel it's a personal feeling. You know,
okay.
as a woman, maybe I should
Remember,
say,
he's listening.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
Mm,
what you said, you nailed it in the bud, and I
mm,
like the expression you used,
mm,
but I know I went deeper because I think I was using my emotion as a woman. But I've seen
mm,
it where a woman cannot speak. I'm going there to speak to a woman who's going through problems, and the man is speaking on her behalf. Come on, Andrew. Yeah. And I'm
well,
like, okay, I want to hear from your wife. Said, and she's looking down, oh, we are, because culturally, blah, 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 you shouldn't look at from their culture, that's normal. That's not a problem. But from this culture, it may be seen, yeah, that
mm,
the woman is being oppressed, she can't even speak. And I end up talking to the husband to hear what the woman is going through. You know what I mean? So yeah,
yes,
when that's
'cause,
that's where it
the,
becomes a bit interesting because my role as a social worker is I cannot
mm,
judge
mm,
someone based on what I've just heard. I have to understand their culture first and then
mm,
treat them as the way they would want to be treated. It's not good. That's why I liked when you rephrased and helped me change the oppression because you can quickly actually judge as a
mm.
situation when it's actually not. And she's happy in that situation. And me, I'm thinking from a Zimbabwean perspective, oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
she's been
That's the
oppressed,
thing.
So
Because
thank you for, yeah,
what opened my eyes in terms of
yeah.
this the whole setup is when I had a guest one time come on, and
Mm,
he highlighted, like, we was talking about corruption, and
mm,
then he said to me, what do you mean corruption? Because if the father of the house takes money to buy a car instead of buying food in the house, and then that car is using it to go to work and
mm,
coming back efficiently,
mm.
would you deem that as corruption?
And what did you say? I
You
want
know,
to hear.
it just opened my eyes to say
Yeah.
maybe we look at things from a perspective where it's one way, where if it's not what we know, then
It's
it's wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
why I say thank you for correcting me because
Yeah.
that's exactly the whole course of social work. You cannot
Mm,
assume. You go in a
mm,
situation and you say, sometimes things are not what they seem. Let's put it that
yeah.
way.
Mm,
Some of the difficult situations I've been, like during the COVID time, there were domestic violence numbers that went up because people were seeing each other 24/7. So
yeah.
my role is to go in and assess to see what's actually going on and who is in
Mm,
danger. So you kind of end up getting in too deep into people's That's why I wanted to use my experience from work, because I've seen firsthand information where it will come as one thing, and then when you actually look at the situation, it's not what it seems. And you realize some people would lie to get houses. I've had situations where somebody will lie and say, my husband beat me, and there's no evidence, and then the next thing they are moved to a new house, and you think, so we have to we tread carefully on how I would describe situations around marriage. So that's that. But to go back to your question, how I view the whole marriage, that's a big one. I'm a Christian. I never hide that, and God made it that like a man should be married to one woman, right? But yeah. I know why I emphasize that. And how I see marriage, and this is, I'm loving this conversation because it carries nicely to why we are doing the Singles Summit, which is another thing why I came to talk about here, because we realized we are from a culture where when you reach a certain age, the pressure is on.
Yeah.
At the family meetings, everybody's asking, what's happening? Why are you not married? Practically, they could even find a husband for you. And, and that time can be very difficult for someone, where even everybody's assuming that you're married. So
I was surprised. I was actually surprised to know that we actually have arranged marriage.
You mean in our culture?
Yeah.
In other cultures. Okay, I didn't know. But wow. In this day and age, but who am I to judge if it's working for them? Some people can be in an arranged marriage and it's working fine, and some people may have found their own husband and it's not working. So it's a personal. Yeah. So for me, I've been married for 11 years now.
Okay.
The most wonderful husband. I see marriage as a journey. Like I'm talking from a personal, no marriage is perfect.
Yes.
It has its ups and downs. I find the downs are the times where you work out a solution together, and that's what makes the marriage sweeter, because when you're down, you want to find a solution to sort out the problem. And then, but I feel everyone has a different way of dealing with problems in a marriage. Some people are short-tempered. They'll just say, you know what, that's it, divorce. But from my perspective, I feel no one is perfect.
Yeah.
And if you can work out an argument and be going on holiday the next time and celebrate as if the argument never happened, and not have a wife who after a week say, but last week, and be writing all sorts of things that you've done, reminding you, but you did this, so a marriage is built on trust. I'm talking from a personal experience. Marriage is built on trust. Marriage is built on good communication. Marriage is built on understanding that no one is perfect. And if a mistake happens, I'll forgive the person because I love them, and we'll work a way forward. Now, when you come into this community, you're coming from Zimbabwe. I wasn't married in Zimbabwe. Remember, I said I was here for 20-something years. So I saw my husband here, got married, and we're still together. We're hoping to die together. I mean, he's going to die first, and then I will remain.
Because of stress, yeah?
But not because of stress, he overworks. He works too hard, that man of mine. But anyway, so the whole idea of marriage for me is, I thought, before I got married, I thought the whole idea was to find your Mr. Right and you live happily ever after.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if somebody's listening and they are waiting for their Mr. Right, you may be waiting for a long time. There's a lot of compromising you need to take. Like if you want a 6 foot, all these specifications that you have, it may not exist. Maybe the 6-pack will come as a womanizer, or so it takes a lot of compromising from even choosing the partner. Imagine you're compromising before you even go into marriage. Now compromising while you're in the marriage to say, okay, I love, my idea of marriage is when I get married, I want to have a 4-bedroom house. But now I have a husband who's got a 1-bedroom. So you can't say, so I don't love you because you don't have the specific. So there's a lot of compromising and understanding that things will not happen the way I planned them to. I'm saying that because at 11 years, I don't have a child. In a normal African culture, if you don't have a child, you have to divorce her.
Yeah.
but I tell you, we are happy where we are. So that's
Oh,
why.
oh, oh, do you know what? I just got that. Oh,
What?
11 years into marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, okay, okay. I'm
Andrew,
listening.
come on, wake up. It's Friday. Where are you? Keep up, keep up. Yes.
I'm in France with the gentleman.
Yeah, you're planning to join them.
Do you know what?
Come back, come back.
I was trying to put together like
Yes.
at the age of
No, I've
11
been
and
married
having a
in
child. Like,
2011 on the 9th of April, which is a day
all
before my
right.
birthday. And
Oh,
now
all right.
11 years into marriage. Yes.
Ah,
I've
that's
known, I've
mm,
known my husband since 2002, 3.
mm-hmm,
So we've known each other as friends,
mm,
and then we got married. We are where we are now.
mm,
I have to tell you, a lot of people say having a marriage that long in the diaspora, it's a
mm,
miracle because a lot of people are
yeah,
getting divorced. I know most of my
yeah.
friends are divorced. So
Mm.
I would agree. Probably they are right. I don't know. Maybe they compare with the pressures.
Hey, listen,
Yeah,
there's uh, put it. Some people are 18 years in.
yeah.
The other one dies a night shift, and the other one dies a day shift. The other one works in Scotland and comes on the
Yeah.
weekend.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because we are
Mm,
planning as Family for Sure to do
mm,
some workshops of
mm.
like family unit where
Yeah,
we are having family therapy to talk
yeah,
about what does it mean to be a dad or a father. We actually had a fathers and sons workshops where some of the families are broken, they don't communicate, but they're still together.
yeah.
So what the workshop was trying to do is to look at what went wrong
Mm,
and trying to fix a family. We can never do that, but we can try to create that place where people can communicate. So we've had men breaking down in those workshops talking about my son I can't beat my son in England because it's against the
yeah.
law.
Mm,
So I'll take him to Africa and deal with him. So I understand from a professional and personal perspective that sometimes we can't blame we always blame the culture, like the British laws, to say, oh, because I can't beat my son. And I always say, look at yourself. How much are you responsible for the problem that you're going through? It may be you're spending have you how okay, give me a synopsis of a week. When do you spend, where is family time? What do you do on a Monday? So we started looking at all the things. You just reminded me.
mm,
How do you spend your Monday or Friday? Like Friday now, family time, you said. But
mm,
now Friday, I'm thinking, oh, it's double shift. I need to go to work. Whereas the son now is going on the internet
mm.
and looking for a dad or a father. There's a difference between a dad and a father. I didn't know. I
Exactly.
thought it
Yeah.
was the same thing. And they're looking for a father, and some people end up in gangs and doing all sorts because there's absent fathers, even though they are in the house.
Yeah.
So that's a massive problem we are facing here in the diaspora because a lot of people have come here to work. Shall I say 99% or probably 100%? Well, you can empathize with us. We've
Mm,
come here
mm.
to find greener pastures. We've come here to work. So
But
you're
this is the
thinking with the
thing is,
bills going up, with the
mm,
rental, with all this political agenda, which I don't want to talk about because it's stressing me out, but it's affecting us, the normal people.
mm,
So sometimes you have to work the extra mile, but then you have to balance. Okay, I'm working,
yeah.
I want to pay my mortgage,
Mm-hmm,
but then I've got a son who's now not concentrating in school or having this level of
mm,
difficult child, and now my relationship is so it's balancing
yeah.
work life and family life.
Mm,
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Me and my husband, we work hard.
mm-hmm,
Believe you me, we work hard because I've got the job as a social worker, which I work part-time, and I've
mm,
got family for sure, which I work on Fridays. I shouldn't be working today, but I'm working because I took off yesterday.
mm,
But normally Fridays is my family for sure day.
mm.
Then we
But
have
but here you are promoting family for sure. So it's
yeah,
part of
here I
it.
am promoting family for sure.
Mm,
But we try to make it a mandate to travel because we love traveling, the both of
mm,
us. So we try to make it that we work hard, but we always treat ourselves to something that we love together
mm-hmm.
to keep the fire burning. And I
Yep.
think it is burning. I think so. From my perspective, it is.
A happy home, a happy wife is a happy home.
Yeah, of course. That's I'm glad you're learning that's all you need to know. Everything else, throw it outside the window.
All right,
Yeah.
let's hold it right there and go for a
Yeah.
quick one still.
Okay.
Yep. We're on the last quarter right now on the Lunchman show with Chichi.
I don't know why I do that.
Yeah. So yeah, before we went off, you were saying,
No, we were talking about marriage, the
yeah, we was
biggest
talking.
topic,
You were
and
talking about
I
marriage.
was giving you tips on how to be a good
Mm.
husband, was I? Yeah, okay. And you had said the secret to a
but
happy marriage is
mm,
a happy wife. Okay,
but
go ahead.
do you not think that statement is a statement to encourage manipulating?
What statement? Remind me.
A happy wife is a happy home.
No, I think it depends how you view it because everybody has a different viewpoint, you know.
Mm.
Some because I don't want to go into the debate of men, women, which side am I on, but I think if you're
No,
that person
it
who,
doesn't need to be a debate. It can be a
yeah,
discussion highlighting um, the
yeah,
bits and bobs because I'm
I
trying to see how you think. So if you
yeah, no, I don't think it's a manipulative statement. That's why I said it depends how you view it.
Mm,
Well, I feel if you're somebody who views it in a positive way, like, okay, a woman goes through ups and downs emotions, at the end of the month. I'm sure you've seen it now living with a woman. You're maybe while you were dating, she was always, now you're in 24/7 looking at each other.
mm,
It's not the same anymore. You can't be on the high 24/7. So it's understanding that as women, we go through emotions up and down.
mm.
So I view that statement of as knowing me in those moments when I'm down and not trying to nag me and trying to say, oh, you didn't cook for me. Maybe I'm having cramps but that's where I need you to understand happiness when I'm feeling very low. Not not the happy wife as in buying me things all the time. Sometimes it's more like a happy wife, make sure that when I'm low,
Mm.
find out what's going on, babe. What's happening? You seem a bit low, just to keep me the momentum going. So that's why I say it depends how you view it. It
I
depends.
view it. What you think of my view?
Tell me.
My view of a happy wife is a happy home is
Mm,
when she's happy,
mm,
things move and they things work out and everything nice, and you know what I mean, and things work out. And then if she's not happy, um it could either mean one, you are the problem, or she is now your responsibility
mm.
to create happiness from nowhere.
Yeah. I
And then
suppose when you signed those papers, the T's and C's, the small print,
there was none of that.
yeah,
There
I
was
don't know
none
if
of
you read the small print because that comes with marriage. That's I
that.
always,
Yeah,
part of my job is
that's true.
I'm a marriage counselor, because it's part of
Mm,
social work. So
mm,
I do talk to a lot of couples who are going through some small little difficulties and
yeah,
poor communication issues. And you'll be amazed some of the issues that people are actually divorcing for. I'll be thinking, oh my God, this is so things
yeah,
like what you're saying. It's not my responsibility to make you smile. You're an adult, all grown woman. If you're feeling low, I'm not going to be going around saying,
yeah.
"Here's a sweet, here's this." So I've had that conversation from men saying, "Why is it my? What about me? When I'm sad, you don't even go like that. So why should I?" And I
No, but
always say,
it's still you could still try. I mean,
yeah,
it's you could try,
yeah,
and I mean, with everything there has to be boundaries and respect. I mean, if you
sure,
know that your wife, this is what makes her happy, then you might as well do that when she's sad. Or if she tells you, listen, give me some space, or
yeah.
maybe wait there for a minute. It's just
Mm.
the idea, just respecting that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you. The only time where that doesn't work the way you're saying it is when the man is going through his own problems. So, for instance, the man may have stress around money. Okay,
Mm,
my money is not adding up this month.
mm,
And he doesn't want to share that issue with the wife because he wants to be the man and sort out the problem.
mm,
So, at that time, I know men from the ones that I spoke about, I'm not generalizing here, but
mm,
I know multitasking is not something that is within the man's kind of.
mm,
So you'll be thinking, I want to sort one thing at a time. So if a wife is having those moments and says, but you're not even talking to me, but you're not even looking after me, I've got something that I'm dealing with right now. And I always say to the men, but you can still deal with her, while you're dealing with that. It's not a 24/7 thing. You can spare 10 minutes to just say, how are you? So it's that multitasking mentality to say to the wife, understand that your men may be going through things and you are a communicator, but men may not be the greatest communicator like you, because women talk. Men may not want to share too much. They may feel comfortable to talk to their friend about a problem that's affecting even their home. Even like, oh, I don't want to walk on eggshells. I don't want to tread on, what's the saying? Tread on
eggshells.
Exactly. I don't want to poke that. So when they see the wife, it's like they don't want to upset the wife. So they tend to go out to get advice to fix their home. Now, the problem with that is there could be a danger where you go to somebody who is anti-marriage, be saying, Musi, leave her. Sorry, I'm speaking my language. Leave her. This is, there are plenty of women out there.
There's plenty. This is the thing. But, it's we have that. And sometimes where the problem is, it comes up when there's alcohol involved.
Yeah.
And then when there's alcohol involved, it's like sometimes you also have to monitor somebody who says leave. It's like, okay, you're saying leave from what perspective?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So then but then what we tend to forget is that ultimately it's you who makes the decision to leave.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you cannot make that decision and then blame someone for their suggestion. You know
I'm
what I mean?
telling you, Andrew, you're saying the right things, but the community we live in, people want to blame someone for a decision.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a bad thing, you say, "Oh, it's this person." When it's a good thing, it's me. So
yeah.
We are talking to a social worker here. We are blamed for everything, So blame the social worker. Who was this on the news? Oh, there was a social worker. What did they do? So I know the blame culture like the back of my hand, So it's a culture that I think it's just a norm that, oh, I don't want to look bad. So it's not me. It was this person who told me this. But you're a grown-up adult. You could have said no. Take responsibility for whatever decision you make. Oh, I didn't want to cheat, but it's my friend who told me. No, you're grown up. Actually, for you following that friend, that's the problem.
You don't know. Maybe their family setup allows them to cheat.
They may have an open relationship.
Yeah. You don't know about that.
Definitely, yeah. So I always say to people going through whatever they're going through, be careful where you're getting your advice, because because some people out there, they have crazy ideas of marriage, which may not work within your own norms and values. And some people may have demonic or whatever. I won't go into that, but there may be all sorts of different weird people in this world. Some of the advice I've been given throughout my marriage, and I'm not one who shares my problems with the world. I'm that kind of person who keeps my story to myself. If you see me sharing, it must have been, but which I haven't, which means everything is good.
I mean, it's 11 years now. I mean,
11 years now. It's like, I'm a pro. No, I'm joking. You'll never be a pro in marriage.
Okay.
Don't never say that. Yeah.
Saying that. What would you be a first wife of 3, or would you not know your husband's shenanigans? And then when he dies, when the casket goes down, it's like, this is one of his kids.
Do you know what? I'm actually having a heart attack now to talk about this. My heart is pounding. It's a discussion that makes me feel, because I'm anti. I'm not one who supports polygamy. I'm that person who'll be like, no, if you want somebody else, let's go our separate ways. That's me. My husband knows that. And I am that kind of person who says, even if you want to cheat, just tell me. He said, oh, come on, will I do that? Like, tell you, I'm going to cheat. Is that all right? And I'm like, yes. Take care. Say hi to them. No, I always
here's some bread and give
and take everything. Does she like soup? What does she like? No, I always want to encourage an not open relationship, but openness in the sense of communication.
Mm.
Where if you're not happy for whatever reason, let's talk about it, even if it's a very uncomfortable. I tell you, we've had so much uncomfortable discussions in this house, but I like that because I don't want to have to sugarcoat a marriage to make it look sweet when you are not happy. So allowing time to just sit down and say, how has been the marriage been? He laughs at me. He said, I feel like I'm in a meeting,
Yeah.
talking about but it allows us to have once in a while we have
Mm.
these long hour talks where we just think,
Yeah.
oh my God, we haven't been talking because you're busy, but
Mm.
and we discover something new about each other. That's another thing. You will never stop discovering something about your partner.
Yeah. And
See how I'm running away from the polygamy question?
I see you. I see you. I see you. You got me on that one.
Yes.
But in saying that, it's like
Mm,
you touched on something. What I've
mm,
realized is that many a times um, there is missing information and there's misinterpretation
mm,
where you, because you saw that, you interpreted it as that. And
mm,
then because you are missing information,
mm,
you are assuming. So it's ideal that partners actually have that one time where they actually clear things out, because some people live the rest of their lives thinking, oh yeah, because in that year he stole a cow, so
mm.
he actually paid Lobola, you Lobola me
Mm.
with the stolen cow. What's my value? It's like, well, you
Mm.
alone, you paid the bride price with a different cow, like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
to be honest, a
Mm,
lot of
mm,
the issues that people end up getting divorced for, if
mm,
you were in my shoes and listening to some of the conversation, although I
mm.
can't say, oh,
Yeah.
come on, don't tell me you want to get divorced for that. I just have to be sensitive to listen.
Mm.
You'll be amazed. Oh, he left the. I always tell him he leaves the socks every time on the door. He's messy. So
Yeah.
I'm a clean freak. I don't like any messy things, so I can't live with him. So he has to go. And you're thinking, really? There are real issues out there. We don't have a prime minister right now. These are real issues. But anyway, you can't say that you'll be thinking that, but you
Mm,
have to be sensitive to listen because
mm,
listening is a skill,
mm.
and you just absorb and try to put yourself in that person's shoes to say, okay, this is important to them. Like somebody who would say, my cat died, and they're crying. You can't laugh and say, oh, come on, it's just a cat.
You know
So
what?
it's
One time I had a situation where I was working night shift, and
yeah.
this guy showed up to work, and he had his dog in his car.
Mm,
And then I was like, hold on, why do you have your dog in your car? And
mm.
then he was like, oh yeah, because I couldn't get a babysitter. I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, there's actually people who babysit dogs.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, you discover a lot in this culture because you're thinking of back home where the dog can
Yeah,
stay,
stay in
just
the
lock
back
the
of the
gate
house.
and then roams around the home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. So yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. So it's just putting yourself in the person's shoes and sees what they value and
Yeah.
then help them in
Mm,
that way. So that's all you can do when you're giving advice. Don't
mm,
try to be out of this world. Just try and look at the person's view and
mm.
help them in that way. So that's it. Yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Yeah.
Hey, oh man, we've reached an hour point with our lady, with family for sure. Andrew lunchtime. It's a Friday. I hope you guys had a good time and had a good time. And I mean, you could actually come back next time we have another conversation.
Absolutely. Can I just
So
say goodbye to my friends because I know they will listen and they will be so gutted that I didn't
great,
mention them.
great. Go ahead.
Yeah, so rejoice, Chipo, my mom, my dad,
Mm.
every family for sure, and blessing, begonia, prophet. Oh my God, if I left your name, I'm sorry. But thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. And please do come to the single summit on the 11th of November. It's on Eventbrite, so I'll send the link to your
Yeah,
people
yeah,
and you
yeah,
can share.
yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care of yourself and
Take
your loved
care.
ones.
Bye
I
bye.
hope everybody has a lovely weekend, people, because the lunch Munch show will be back on Monday, and it's gonna be fun. And we continue to live life And don't do anything that I wouldn't do this